Hello students, how are you all? Welcome to online classes. In the last session we have completed the introduction of ethers, IUPAC nomenclature of ethers, classification of ethers we have completed. In this session I am going to discuss preparations of ethers and physical properties of ethers. Before going to that, so what is the nature of functional group of ether? Nature of functional group ether, that is nature of functional group ether. Ether, one oxygen, these are alkyl groups. I took methyl group, you can take ethyl, methyl, propyl, butyl, whatever. Here also one more methyl group contains 3 hydrogens. So 2 lone pairs are there. The bond angle is 117 degrees and it is 141 picometers, the bond length. CO bond length is similar to that of the CO bond length in alcohols and phenols as it is, but the bond angle is 117. In alcohols and phenols the bond angle is 109 degrees, but in this 117 degrees because there is a bulky groups, these two are bulky groups, repel with each other, and obviously after repulsions, so it moves like this, the angle will be increases. The bond angle in ethers is high, that is 117 degrees, than that of alcohols and phenols because repulsive interactions between bulky alkyl groups, repulsive interaction between bulky alkyl groups, bond angle will be increases when compared with alcohols and phenols. But CO bond length is similar to that of alcohols and phenols. No change in CO bond length, it is similar to that of alcohols and phenols, right? This is the nature of functional group. Next, afterwards. Now, properties of, before going to properties, preparations of ethers. Yes, preparations of ethers. There are 2 methods given in the syllabus. First one is from dehydration of alcohols. Second one is from Williamson synthesis. These are the 2 methods used to prepare ethers. We'll discuss one by one. The first one is from dehydration of ethers. Dehydration of alcohols. We have discussed already while discussing the alcohols topic. When alcohols undergoes dehydration, gives different products at different temperatures. At high temperature alkene, moderate temperature ether, low temperature ethyl hydrogen sulfate will be formed. We will write. Alcohols on dehydration gives different products at different temperatures. Now first one is C2H5OH ethyl alcohol treated with concentrated H2SO4. For our convenience, I took concentrated H2SO4 as HHSO4, H plus and HSO4 minus. Then OH minus and HSO4 minus will be removed as H2O. This is at 110 degrees Celsius. 110 degrees Celsius. You can convert it into kelvins also. Then the left part is C2H5HSO4. OH plus is replaced by HSO4. This is called ethyl hydrogen and SO4 is called sulfate. Ethyl hydrogen sulfate will be formed. Next, C2H5OH plus OH C2H5. I am taking two ethyl alcohol molecules treated with concentrated H2SO4 acting as a dehydrating agent at 140 degrees Celsius. 140 degrees Celsius, nothing but 443 kelvins or 443 kelvins, right? 413 kelvins it is, 413 kelvins. Then we will get this H and OH is removed as H2O at 413 kelvins. Then we will get C2H5O C2H5. Diethyl, two ethyl groups in ether, that's why it is called diethyl ether. Ether will be formed at 140 degrees Celsius or 413 Kelvin. Alcohols undergoes dehydration with the concentrated H2SO4. Ethers are possible. Next, CH2OH treated with concentrated H2SO4 at 170 degrees Celsius, otherwise 443 kelvins. 443 kelvins. Then observe carefully, this H plus and OH minus ion will be removed and this bond is shifted here, then forms CH3 converted into CH2. CH3 I wrote like a CH2H and CH2 single bond converted into double bond CH2. OH is eliminated as H2O. OH is eliminated as H2. It is ethene, nothing but alkene will be formed. It means at different temperatures, alcohols on dehydration gives different products. One is ethyl hydrogen sulfate, second one is diethyl ether, another one is ethene, nothing but alkenes are possible. Now we are studying preparations of ethers, that's why we should know this. It means when alcohol treated with the concentrated H2SO4 at 140 or 413 kelvins then forms diethyl ether, right? Now for this mechanism is important, reaction followed by the mechanism. Yes, reaction. Alcohol on dehydration with concentrated H2SO4 at 413 Kelvin gives ethers. Reaction is, so the reaction is, we can write reaction like this: CH3CH2OH plus OH CH2 CH3. Ethyl alcohol, another ethyl alcohol, for our convenience I wrote like this. Then treated with concentrated H2SO4 at 413 kelvins, then the eliminated one is this one. H plus from one alcohol, OH minus from another alcohol, then gives rise to, so CH3 CH2O CH2 CH3, diethyl ether. The compound is two ethyl groups, diethyl, the functional group is ether. Getting right? For this reaction mechanism, students, 3 marks question. So dehydration of alcohols to form ether, for that reaction mechanism. There are 3 steps. So step 1, first one, step 1 it is. In this step 1, H2SO4 is taken, it will be converted into H plus plus HSO4 minus H plus plus HSO4 minus. The H plus formed from, what is that? Acid. Negatively charged electrons on oxygen attracted to the H plus, then gives rise to CH3 CH2O. Two lone pairs becomes only one lone pair. This is already H, one more H. Already H is there, one more H it is, and two lone pairs converted into one lone pair. So oxygen is losing electrons, that's why plus. It is protonated alcohol. It is protonated alcohol. One proton is there, that's why called protonated alcohol. Okay. This is first molecule. There are 2 molecules of alcohol. Second molecule I am taking CH3 CH2OH, this is plus this one CH3 CH2OH H plus it is, right? So these 2 will be shifted here. Yes, these 2 electrons are shifted to oxygen. 2 electrons, it means electron charge is negative and this plus will be neutralized. Then here positive charge will be formed. This positive charge and negatively charged electrons are attracted with each other. Then gives rise to, yes, starting one CH3 CH2. Oxygen contains 2 lone pairs actually, one is gone, that's why only one left. Already hydrogen is there, this is the hydrogen, I wrote like this, and this CH2 and CH3 will be added. Getting all of you? CH3 CH2 OH H and CH2 CH3 connected, and this HOH removed as H2O. HOH, one lone pair becomes 2 lone pairs. It is step 2. Step 2. It means attack of protonated alcohol with another molecule. Attacking protonated alcohol to another alcohol. This is step 2. Next, so here instead of 2 lone pairs only 1 lone pair, that's why 1 lone pair is less, that's why indicated as plus. Next, step 3 students. Step 3, CH3 CH2 OH, it is plus CH2 CH3 it is. And here these two electrons are shifted to this oxygen side. Then H will be eliminated as H plus. Then we will get CH3 CH2 O. One lone pair becomes two lone pairs, CH2 CH3 H plus. H plus in the first step consumed and finally released. This H plus and the left HSO4 minus is again removed as H2SO4. In this, step 2 is a slow step. In slow step, first alcohol and protonated alcohol is involved in a rate of reaction. That's why it is this formation of ether follows SN2 mechanism, SN2 reaction. SN2 reaction means substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. Substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. Bi means two molecules, one is alcohol, another one is protonated alcohol involved in a, which one that is slow step, that's why it is SN2 reaction. Next, this method is only used to prepare ethyl symmetrical ethers, and that too primary symmetrical ethers. It is not suitable to prepare substituted ethers or secondary tertiary ethers, because I took a primary alcohol. Primary alcohol is less hindered, only one alkyl group, so that's why the reaction is very fast. And symmetrical ethers, ethyl diethyl ether, symmetrical ethers only possible, because in this reaction the concentrated H2SO4 function is, it abstract one H plus from first alcohol, one OH from second alcohol. These two alcohols must be same, then only reaction will be worked out. Understood? That's why it is the method only used to prepare primary ethers and symmetrical ethers, but not substituted ethers, secondary and tertiary ethers. Getting? This is the meaning, students. Now we will write. If you take substituted ethers, nothing but secondary, tertiary ethers, in such cases if you take substituted alcohols, then you'll get a substituted ethers. But instead of dehydration of water, instead of formation of ether, alkenes will be formed. It follows SN1 reaction. Conclusion once again. Concentrated H2SO4 at 413 kelvins favors the formation of ethers if we take primary alcohols. If you take secondary and tertiary alcohols, then alkene formation is favorable than ethers formation by dehydration. And if you take secondary and tertiary alcohol, it follows SN1 mechanism, because for SN1 tertiary greater than secondary. For SN2, if you take primary alcohol follows SN2, SN2 order will be primary alcohol, secondary, tertiary, like that. Getting all of you? We will write all these points now. Right, points are. Now, this method is only used to prepare primary ethers nothing but or symmetrical ethers, symmetrical ethers by taking primary alcohols, by taking primary alcohols on dehydration, and follows SN2 reaction, bimolecular reaction. If secondary and tertiary alcohols on dehydration gives alkenes but not ethers, it follows, first point it is, second point it is SN1 reaction, for SN1 tertiary greater than secondary greater than primary. For SN2 reaction, primary greater than secondary greater than tertiary. Primary if you take follows SN2. SN2 means ethers will be formed. Tertiary or secondary if you take follows SN1. SN1 means alkene is the major product. Getting all of you? Yes. Right. This is the preparation of ethers. Next, the question is, why is bimolecular dehydration is not appropriate? Why is bimolecular dehydration is not appropriate for the preparation of ethyl methyl ether, for the preparation of ethyl methyl ether. Bimolecular means SN2 reaction. By SN2 means ether must be formed, but ether is not formed. Why? Because solution, ethyl methyl ether is it is C2H5OCH3. Ethyl methyl ether is symmetrical or unsymmetrical? Unsymmetrical ether. Okay, it is not symmetrical ether. So in bimolecular dehydration H2SO4 abstract H plus from one alcohol and OH minus from another alcohol. This method, it means bimolecular SN2. Point number 1, that is, this method work with symmetrical ethers, work only with symmetrical ethers, symmetrical ethers, but not for unsymmetrical ethers, like ethyl methyl ether. Hence, SN2 bimolecular reaction is not appropriate for the preparation of ethyl methyl ether because it is unsymmetrical ether. SN2 bimolecular reaction is only for preparation of symmetrical ethers but not unsymmetrical ethers. By the dehydration of alcohols, we will get ethers. Only primary alcohols can converted into ethers. We cannot prepare unsymmetrical ethers and substituted ethers by this dehydration. So we will get only symmetrical ethers. What we have to do to get a unsymmetrical ethers and substituted ethers by reactants. So to get these unsymmetrical and substituted ethers, we have to follow another reaction, that is Williamson synthesis. Very, very important for your PUC. Second method of preparation, Williamson's synthesis. Williamson's synthesis to prepare symmetrical and unsymmetrical ethers. Second method of preparation, Williamson's synthesis. Statement also important, it is 2 marks question. Williamson synthesis is when sodium alkoxide treated with alkyl halide then gives ether in presence of dry ether, that is called which one? Williamson synthesis. Yes, when sodium alkoxide reacts with alkyl halide then gives ethers. So alkyl halide, it is alkyl halide, okay, plus sodium alkoxide O minus Na plus, then gives rise to, here Na and X will be removed, minus NaX, then we will get ROR, that is ether. It is sodium alkoxide, then gives ether. It is a generalized equation. Example for this equation is CH3Cl plus NaOCH3, you will get NaCl, then gives rise to minus NaCl, CH3OCH3, diethyl ether, it is diethyl ether, right? Next, CH3Cl plus NaOC2H5, sodium methoxide, again the removed compound is NaCl, then gives rise to CH3OC2H5. Ethyl, it is ethyl in alphabetical order first, next it is methyl ether will be formed. Not only like that, CH3Cl plus NaOCH3CH3, isopropyl, sodium isopropyl oxide, then NaCl is removed, then gives rise to CH3OCH3CH3. Getting all of you? It is isopropyl methyl isopropyl ether, okay. So it is a symmetrical ether, getting methyl, two identical, that's why symmetrical. Methyl ethyl, unsymmetrical ether, it is unsymmetrical ether. It is substituted one, methyl isopropyl, substituted ether. It means by Williamson synthesis you can prepare symmetrical ethers, unsymmetrical ethers, substituted ethers, whatever you can take. Yes, by the above reaction we can prepare symmetrical symmetrical, unsymmetrical, unsymmetrical, and substituted ethers, substituted ethers. All kinds of ethers you can prepare. There is no drawback at all. Getting all of you? Now it follows SN2 mechanism. It follows SN2 mechanism. It follows SN2 mechanism. Right. Next, after this, if you take primary alkyl halide, when alkyl halide reacts with sodium alkoxide, then gives ether. One reactant is alkyl halide, another reactant is sodium alkoxide. Then better yield of ether we will get by taking primary alkyl halide instead of tertiary alkyl halide. Better yield of ether will be obtained, ether will be obtained by taking primary alkyl halide, primary alkyl halide and tertiary alkoxide, tertiary alkoxide. Here alkyl halide for Williamson synthesis is primary greater than secondary greater than tertiary. Primary is more favorable, right? Next, alkoxide ion is tertiary greater than secondary greater than primary. It means tertiary alkoxide and primary alkyl halide is more favorable for ether preparation by Williamson synthesis. Williamson synthesis. Getting? Primary alkyl halide and tertiary alkoxide is more favorable to prepare Williamson synthesis. Example, that is CH3Br, otherwise tertiary sodium alkoxide, ONA it is, O minus Na plus. Tertiary sodium butoxide it is, tertiary sodium butoxide treated with primary alkyl halide, then you will get, so the compound eliminated is NaBr, then CH3, that is O, CH3O, C, CH3, CH3, CH3. It is SN2 reaction, no, inversion is possible. Inversion means left becomes right, right becomes left. Left becomes right, right becomes left, right? It is methyl tertiary butyl ether, methyl tertiary butyl ether, tertiary butyl ether, tertiary butyl and methyl ether it is. Now, if I took primary alkyl halide, ether formation is more. But if I took tertiary alkyl halide, then alkene is the major product. If tertiary alkyl halide reacts with sodium alkoxide, then gives alkenes but not ethers, alkenes but not ethers. Example is tertiary butyl bromide I am taking, tertiary butyl bromide treated with NaOCH3, primary sodium methoxide it is. Getting? Primary sodium methoxide. It is tertiary alkyl halide, tertiary alkyl halide. Then instead of preparing ethers, now Na and Br is eliminated as NaBr, that is okay. Next, this one hydrogen and CH3O removed as a CH3OH, and the left part is CH3, C, CH3, single bond converted into double bond, CH3 converted into CH2. This is alkene. If you take tertiary alkyl halides, alkenes are formed. Primary alkyl halides, ethers are formed more. The yield is very high. So, if you take tertiary alkyl halide, alkenes are formed but not ethers, because this sodium alkoxide is not only acting as a nucleophile in SN2 reaction, but also acting as a base. Base means proton acceptor. Proton means H plus. This H plus can accepted by the CH3O, then here alkene will be formed. Getting all of you? Yes. Because, reason students, because alkoxide ion is not only a nucleophile, but also acts as proton acceptor. It means base. Then forms alkene. Getting students? If you take tertiary butyl chloride or tertiary alkyl halides, it will be happened. Reason is alkoxide not only acting as nucleophiles, also acting as which one? Proton acceptors, right? So this is about. So while accepting the proton, chance to form a tertiary carbocation is more stable. That's it. Now, so that leads to elimination reaction. This leads to elimination, but not substitution. Elimination reaction. There is a competition between elimination versus substitution. So here elimination dominates over substitution. That's the reason behind this. If you take tertiary alkyl halides, elimination dominates over substitution, then alkenes formed. Primary, substitution dominates, that's why ethers formed. In the first case also, from dehydration of alcohols also, tertiary, secondary if you take, elimination dominates, that's why alkene formed. Primary if you take, substitution takes place by SN2 mechanism, that's why ethers formed. That is the reason. So now, how to prepare aromatic ethers? How to prepare aromatic ethers? Yes. Now, from phenols also, we can prepare ethers. Phenol first converted into phenoxide ion. I told you alkoxide ion is required as a reactant in the Williamson synthesis. Phenoxide ion. This phenoxide reacts with alkyl halide gives ether, that is aromatic ether. Phenol is taken first. This is treated with the NaOH, right? NaOH. Then gives rise to ONA. H2O is removed here. H and OH is removed. Then the left is ONA. O minus Na plus. Sodium phenoxide it is. Sodium phenoxide. This is treated with alkyl halide. The taken alkyl halide is CH3Cl. Cl and Na is removed as NaCl it is. then gives rise to O left here, O, next after that CH3. Methyl phenyl ether it is, methyl phenyl ether will be formed. Getting, students? Aromatic ether is possible. Now you can take like this also, ONA C2H5Cl, then we will get minus NaCl, finally OC2H5, ethyl phenyl ether. Now if you reverse it, C2H5ONA plus here Cl if I took, instead of alkyl halide, aryl halide I have taken. It is alkyl halide. It is also alkyl halide. It is aryl halide. Okay. Then it is sp2 hybridization. This CCl bond is stronger. This breaking is not possible. That's why no reaction. Because if you take aryl halide, carbon undergoes sp2, S character more, electronegativity more, strong attraction between carbon and halogen, you cannot break, that's why no reaction. Very, very important. These are the methods which are used to prepare ethers. Very, very important. We'll continue in the next session.